10 seconds remaining. Prepare for battle.
Hello, Dota 2 fans, and welcome to another edition of Dota Pit Season 2. I am Morrig, please, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster. And I'm sorry I missed the draft here, guys. I was planning on casting the Summit 2 today. As you can see, we have Moscow 5 versus Complexity Gaming. 5-man smoke movement through the dire jungle from Moscow 5. Had to miss the draft there, guys. Was going to cast Cloud9 versus Na'Vi EU today, but unfortunately that game has been postponed due to scheduling conflicts with Na'Vi. Swindlemelon sitting on the high ground on his Dragon Knight. They're going to pop the smoke of PGG, and they can go right into him here. Will there be a splitter from Moon? Moon on the core Leshrock. No, it doesn't look to seem to be too aggressive here. There was a Dragon Tail skilled up by Swindle. He's sitting at 290 MS to the 295 of PGG. Splitter from the high ground, gonna miss, but a Nightmare goes out from Z-Freak. They've caught PGG. Dragon Tail goes out. Few more right clicks, even the tower helping out, and actually the dire side getting the kill here. So no first blood quite yet, but either way, nice influx of gold. 425 going the way of Complexity, 85 per hero for PGG's death there. So pretty unusual turn of events. Smoke is unsuccessful from Moscow 5 here, and Complexity going to take a small early lead. So as you can see, core Leshrock for Moon Meander here. Not unlike his core Jakiro, a lot of what would generally be supports here are run onto Moon. Blow Your Brain going to be playing in the aggressive tri-lane on the 1 position right game with PGG on the 4 Venge and King R on the 5 Rubik. We've got Swindle in the mid on his Dragon Knight versus Tipo, who is on the Bat Rider. A little bit of nostalgic lane here. Dragon Knight versus Bat Rider. Very throwback mid. So we'll keep an eye on this tri-lane here. The Wraith Fire Blast going to go out after the Telekinesis. Nice defensive sleep onto PGG, but the Magic Missile going to come out anyways. One more right click from Blow Your Brain is not going to be there, but there is no salve here for Moon Meander. And he's going to be hard-pressed to regen up in this lane. His Bane does not have it either. Limp taking up the off lane on this Centaur Warrunner against Tratata, who is on the safe lane Solo Silencer, and Riser is posturing up in the enemy jungle on this jungling Enigma. He's going to rotate into the lane with a Malefice here, and Tratata going to go down, and he will not tick out Limp with that last word. So another kill going the way of Complexity Gaming. So 2-0 in the beginning. Of course, Moon's farm hindered quite heavily from the aggression in the top lane and the lack of regen he had there. So Bottle coming back here for Swindle's Dragon Knight. Swindle's been pretty stable in this mid lane for Complexity. Of course, Moon is the highlight of the team on the 1 position. Z-Freak and Riser really been standouts in terms of the support play for Complexity here. So we'll see what Riser's able to do. It looks like he's rotated into lane for the moment, for the time being, but Limp TPing back down should be assuming his role in the lane once again, and he will rotate the Eidolons out. We'll check to see what Z-Freak's doing. He's just soaking experience at the current moment. Mid lane matchup going pretty evenly, of course, winning to the ranged hero over the melee. Tipo sitting at 13-3 up against the 8-1 of Swindlemelon's Dragon Knight. So pretty poorly things are going for Moon Meander in the safe lane, dual lane here. He's only got 1 CS. He's actually going to split Earth further into the trees to drop a nice defensive observer ward here. That'll give them a lot of information about rotations. Telekinesis into a Magic Missile and a Wave of Terror. Nice defensive sleep by Z-Freak, but the Wraith Fire Blast going to go into Moon. Will they have enough right click here? He actually misses the split Earth on PGG. He will tango into the trees, but one last right click from King R will bring him down. Blow Your Brain well back behind the trees. They're going to Wraith Fire Blast to save King R here. TPs are back in from Moon. Will he hit the split Earth? He does. He takes out PGG here. Overcommittal from Moscow 5. Blow Your Brain actually going to run back through the tower. He's going to eat a lot of this Diabolic Edict. One more right click from Moon around the corner. Not going to be enough to finish him off. One more, and he will go down. Moon's going to finish him off there. King R, it does seem, was able to TP out in the trees. So overall, 2 for 1, going the way of Complexity. Moon dying but coming back and punishing Moscow 5 for their overcommitment in the top lane. Thanks again for joining me, guys. In the bot lane, we have PGG being gone on here. A couple more right clicks, one from Limp, gonna finish him off. Last word gonna pop on Limp. Will he go down here? He will. Tratata gonna find a return kill, 1 for 1 in the bottom lane. Vengeful Spirit for a Centaur War Runner, and that is certainly a win for Moscow 5, as is told by the fight recap here. But only about a 20 experience and 80 experience and 20 gold swing going their way. However, Moon will recover in this safe lane. He's now level 3. Does hit a Split Earth on Blow Your Brain. He's also going to Edict. No creep wave here to soak this up for Blow Your Brain. It will be here momentarily, but he's going to take a lot of damage, and he has no salve. He does go Wraith Fire Blast out onto Moon Meander. Magic Missile to come soon. Wave of Terror is there. King R is there, and Moon overcommitting once again. More overcommittal and punishment thereafter in this game. Moon gonna go down in the safe lane. They didn't even have Z-Freak with him here, so Riser is finding his farm. He's sitting at 14 CS and level 5 on this Enigma. Tratata gonna rotate around and find him, but we'll just look to clean up some of these Eidolons and stop him from farming, and we'll do so. We'll look to see if he Malefices him up here. He does. He doesn't have a Midnight Pulse, however. He's waiting for Limp. He's trying to body block him from going into the trees. Nice job done by Riser. Oh, but he guesses wrong. And Tratata gonna be able to make it south. He's always gonna courier over a couple wards here, and it looks like Z-Freak has returned to the top lane. Pull going on here from him as well as Moon. And Blow Your Brain is pretty low here. If they're able to find him out with a Nightmare Split Earth, that could be dangerous. Wave of Terror, Magic Missile out onto Moon. Wraith Fire Blast going to hit from long range. Are there 2 right clicks? PGG actually doesn't turn the corner, and Moon going to make it out just fine here. Limp actually TPing to the top lane. There is a hasted Swindle Melons on the Dragon Knight. Dragon Tail out onto Blow Your Brain. Double Edge not going to be needed to finish him off. One more right click from Z-Freak, actually going to be the one to kill secure there. Unfortunately, Swindle does not get that kill, which he would have liked. We'll look to see if they pressure with this tower with the dragon form up. Blow Your Brains is up in 4 seconds, but they do have a level 2 Edict up for Moon Meander. Look like they'll Breathe Fire to clear the wave here. Yep. And they will definitely put some punishment into the tower. Diabolic Edict as well as the Corrosive Breath going to do quite a bit of work. Enigma actually finding a solo kill in the bot lane on Tratata. Nice play by Riser. And it looks like they're going to get this T1 uncontested in the top lane. So well played here from Complexity. Actually, Sleep goes out from Z-Freak. Going to be taken off by King R onto PGG. Dragon Tail and the Split Earth actually going to overlap, but the Double Edge as well as the Hoof Stomp going to be enough to take PGG down. Stampede through Blow Your Brains. They're going to pick him up with a Brain Sap from Z-Freak. 2 for 0 in the top lane. 3 for 0 across the map, and a tower for Complexity Gaming. They're looking really good in this early game versus Moscow 5. Take a look at the KDA. 3 for 1 for 4, sitting up Limp on the Centaur War on a 2-0 for Z-Freak's Bane, 2-1 and 2-2 for Riser's Enigma and Moon's Leshrock, respectively. He's going to miss a Split Earth on the creeps here, and actually just look to stack them here as well as pull them towards the lane. Hopefully he's able to get both done, and it looks like he will get both done. So he's got a double stack large camp with this creep here. Going to pull the wave back, of course, as the tower is down. Doesn't want to push up too aggressively. So we'll see if Moon's able to find some farm here. He does have a ward, but he's going to back off and play it safe for now. He's ferrying over a Salve as well as a Clarity. TPs are into the bot lane from Limp. He does have, of course, his level 6, but he's going to get lassoed up and last worded. There's also a Telekinesis from King R here to keep him in the fire, and a Fade Bolt going to finish him off. Actually, Silencer going to find the last hit with a right-click Glaives of Wisdom there. He's not leveling Curse, so it doesn't look like he'll be going for this Ags build. Going for the more standard Silencer carry build with the max Last of Word and Glaives of Wisdom build. Swindle doing pretty well in the mid lane. 33 CS, has caught up fairly well, of course. T-Pose Batrider doing the best on the map. He wasn't involved in any of the engagements in the off lane, so his first involvement there is successful with that lasso. Dragon Tail, Breathe Fire out onto Blow Your Brains as well as the Malefice stun. Looks like he'll be brought down here with the Corrosive Breath and a few more right clicks. Actually, Black Hole committed from Riser here, so they will get a very important kill. Not sure that they needed to use such a long cooldown for that, but either way, worried about rotations in from supports, and it does seem PGG was waiting in the wings. Telekinesis out onto King R. Magic Missile, Fade Bolt. Nice Global Silence as well. Will that be able to cover the kill? It does. Last right click from King R. Going to go out onto Riser's Enigma here. Will the last hit for it will be denied by King R. Dragon Tail out onto Blow Your Brain, but Z-Freak gonna get hit with a magic missile. Nice stampede out defensively from Limp, and Z-Freak will make it away just fine. Swindle gonna fill up his bottle here with an Invis rune. He's got about 10 seconds left on Dragon form, and we'll see if he's able to hit a Dragon Tail. He does have an Invis regardless. And is the stampede up? No, it was used defensively just now. PGG looks to be lagging. Might be a pause here, folks. But thanks again for joining me. I'm Morris Pease, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster. Really action-packed early game for Dota Pit Season 2 here. So yeah, unfortunately, a little bit of ping issues here for both teams, as this is an online tournament. So Tier 1 going to be pressured in the off lane by Tipo, waiting in the wings by Moscow 5. He's got his blink up here, sub 9 minutes. He does jump in, lasso onto Riser's Enigma, but he's quite far away from the fight. Wraith Fire Blast going to go out onto him in the backlines. Tratata going to be picked up. Nice defensive sleep from Z-Freak before he ends up going down here. And it looks like Riser will make it away just fine. Dragon Tail out onto Blow Your Brains. Breathe Fire going to finish him off. Double Edge out onto Tipo, but he's bottling up. He's got a blink. He does blink away in due time. So looks like a 2-for-1 in the bot lane. Tratata and Blow Your Brain, both cores going down just for a Z-Freak Bane. So very nice defensive sleep by Z-Freak there. Will keep up the core Enigma and ensure his safety and survival. So Blow Your Brain doing very poorly on this Wraith King. Look at the KDA. He is sitting at 0-5-2 on the bottom of the board. Unfortunately, that overcommitment under the tower early game has really hindered his ability to catch up. And he is only now going to pick up his reincarnation here. Take a look at the net worth chart. Not to anyone's surprise, Tipo is leading, but followed by 4 of the cores for Complexity Gaming. And Z-Freak, of course, playing in that hard 5 role is quite low. But nonetheless, the net worth lead is in excess of 3K. And the experience lead is pretty much negligible at 500, but Complexity looking good in this early game. Gonna have to find a few more towers, though, I believe, with that Diabolic Edict as well as the Corrosive Breath from Moon and Swindle, respectively. So Moon gonna find some farm in the top lane. He is sitting at level 8 now. He has his Soul Ring as well as his Arcane Boots and 940 gold. So we'll see if he looks to go Bloodstone, perhaps Aghanims. Not sure what he likes to build. Even Yule's Scepter isn't bad at all. With the extra MS and the setup for the Split Earth, not having to use the Nightmare for that, as you have seen, will certainly help out their team fight with the ability to use it defensively or to use it just to sleep the Vengeful Spirit or the Rubik to remove another disable from the fight. Does look like a smoke movement here from Tipo as well as King R. They have Tratata behind him, perhaps to bait. The Firefly is on the ground though, and they are ticking down these creeps, so pretty obvious here, but they may find Swindle and get lucky. Jump in, lasso is down, last word up onto Swindle. Stampede does come out. He will be able to Dragon Tail up Tratata. He magic sticks up. He's gonna survive. Fiend's Grip out onto Tratata, as well as the double edge Black Hole Split Earth onto PGG, and they're gonna find King R as well, waiting in the wings. He's got nothing to get away here. Hoof Stomp is down for now, but a nice Lightning Storm to slow him down, and actually he stole the Fiend's Grip, but he will be cleaned up pretty quickly, and Limp is gonna survive as well. 3-0 going the way of Complexity. Awesome play from Complexity there. Limp with the Stampede, magic stick up for Swindle, and he survives, even getting a Dragon Tail off as he retreats from the fight. So excellent play there. Dagger now comes out for Limp as well, and the aggression is only going to get stronger from Complexity Gaming here. They're sitting at 16-7. Score in kills at 12.5 minutes in. This is Dota Pit Season 2, guys. Group stage matchups. It is a best of 2. So your rares are still not totally insecure at this point. Jump in, Hoof Stomp onto PGG as well as the Split Earth to follow. And one tick of the Diabolic Edict. Gonna take down PGG here. So 17-7 is your score. A nice little gold influx and experience going the way. It looks like Pulse Nova was stolen by King R, and he does have the mana pool. Actually, not quite at this point to sustain that. Only 546 mana, sitting at level 6. So take a look at the hero levels, and actually King R is right at the bottom of the pile, sitting at level 6. Jump in, Hoof Stomp onto Blow Your Brain. He does have a reincarnation here. They're not going to look to commit too much. Brain Sap does go out onto him. He's going to be low, almost sitting at level 8. But they're not going to look to commit mid lane to take him down with a few of their heroes low. Limp sitting at about 50% HP at this point. So Very smart play by Complexity, and not knowing exactly what is waiting in the shadows behind Blow Your Brain. So it looks like we're going to see some grouping up happening from Moscow 5. Medallion does come out for Riser here. He has his mech and soul ring up as well. He's really farmed, sitting at 4th on the net worth chart in this Enigma for how active he was in that bottom lane, helping out Limp. This is quite a bit of farm here. Flamebreak going to scout out the Roshan pit. Swindle actually going to come uphill, and Dragontail King R. There's a split earth as well, and a brain sap going to finish him off. Stampede used. But Tipo and Tratata will seem to make it away here underneath the safety of their tier 1 tower. However, that tier 1 tower does not seem long for this world, with a army of Eidolons as well as the Dragon Form and the Edict up. We'll see if Moon even chooses to use that Edict. He did pop a Soul Ring, and he's not going to use it. He's actually going to save it here. They can go tier 2 here if they so please, and it looks like that is the plan from Complexity. Over that, just about half the duration left for Swindlemelon's Dragon Form here. He's got 1,200 gold as well as his Midas and a set of Power Treads. So he's doing well here. It looks like he'll probably go BKB next. If not, maybe a Blink, but they already have quite a bit of initiation here. Eidoline's going to be spawned here from Riser. Edict is not going to be popped yet from Moon. It looks like he's waiting in the back to find something. The creep wave is cleared up now, so he could use the Edict. He might have been waiting out the Glyph here, and it looks like Moon will rotate in now and pop the Edict, and this tower will drop very hastily. So tier 2 going down. The tower score is 4-0 in the favor of Complexity, something you would certainly expect from their lineup. However, their tier 1 going to be traded top. Trade they're certainly willing to take, but at this point, definitely the right decision from Moscow 5 to be dodging fights. They grabbed a Midas on Tratata, so he's certainly not able to fight at this point in the game. And looks like Complexity will go straight into Roche with this newly found medallion for Riser. They will have quite a bit of damage, as well as the magical toolkits from each of their heroes, and Limp to tank it up. Medallion going back out from Riser here. It looks like Moscow 5 are somewhat aware of this, knowing that they're not defending their T2 top lane, but once again, as I had mentioned, they're just not equipped to fight at this point in the game. Not as much. And actually, Tipo going to go in and feed his life over at the last moment. Limp going to blink out to safety as well, finding the kill with that double edge here. And that's a free Bloodstone charge for Moon Meander, who is almost at level 11 already with a Bloodstone 16 minutes into the game. Tipo trying to make a very high risk, high reward play, jumping into the pit there, but doesn't end up paying off for him, unfortunately. And certainly can't blame him for doing so with how far behind his team is. Over 7,500 net worth, a lead generated here by Complexity. 4,000 or so experience lead as well has been surmounted by them. So amassed by them, I should say. Earn does come out here for King R, but little too late, I believe. Blade Mail build coming out from Blow Your Brains. He's only level 8. Take a look at the hero levels. He is under the level of the Enigma and the off-lane Centaur for Complexity. In fact, with the Midas, Tratata and Tipo are sitting at the top of the experience chart, but the net worth is heavily skewed towards Complexity here. And with the next Dragon Form, as well as this Aegis, which is out on Moon, they will probably look to posture up against this T2 in the mid lane sooner rather than later. Riser is finding some farm bottom. We'll see to look if he goes for that Blink Dagger as well. Of course, they already have one on the center. Gem is actually going to be picked up from Z-Freak. I really like this pickup here with the kind of lead that they have. If they're able to choke out, in terms of vision, choke out Moscow 5 here, and begin to farm the entire map and steal things away from this Wraith King, because Tipo does have most of what he needs with the Force Staff and the Blink. They're going to just be able to increase their lead and further pull away and widen the gap between them and Moscow 5 in this game. Complexity playing really well here. They're about 54% favorites. Global Silence does go out from Tratata to secure his retreat here. Stampede was used to get Swindle in range for that Dragon Tail, but a nice use of the Silence there, and a TP home. Very savvy play made by Tratata. However, with the Aegis and knowing that the Global Silence is down for the next 2 minutes, Complexity will probably choose to get aggressive and look to push into this tier 2 mid even without Stampede. Dragon Form is up now for Swindle, and Fiend's Grip, of course, off cooldown as well for Z-Freak. He's got a gem. He'll do some dewarding here on the sentry, and will continue to do so with all of the vision from Moscow 5. And as I mentioned, Complexity will get aggressive and look to take down this T2. Riser is not with them, however. Blink forward from Limp is not going to be successful, landing on PGG, but a Diabolic Edict going to be totally soaked up by this tower here, and they won't even need Dragon Form. They can even look to go high ground here with this Aegis if Riser is able to join the fight at any point, but it looks like he's just trying to drag the creep wave out from top, and the split push from Moscow is real. They will find a tower here, but it looks like TP's in bottom lane. They're going to get out quickly, and Moon not going to be able to find anyone. He actually does pop the Lightning Storm to slow down Blow Your Brain, but with the cast animation for that, it about slows him just as much. Actually, TP's out here from Blow Your Brain, but he was in the tree line, unfortunately, for Moon. And he did not see him making that TP out. Tipo going to do the same as well, TPing out in the tree line. And Complexity not going to be able to find anything in that bot lane. Perhaps they should have gone high ground, but into a lasso as well as the AoE from the reincarnation. Perhaps they were a little bit tentative to walk up into those two big team fight ults. So it will be a global silence up in 20 seconds here for Tratata. So looks like Riser will just put a little bit of split push pressure onto this bot lane. However, there is quite a few heroes here for defense. Both supports here from Moscow 5. Fade Bolt as well as the Wave of Terror will do quite a bit of work on this creep wave. And actually, they're going to walk uphill here with this Aegis, so can't blame them for doing so. Edict going to be popped. Glyph going to be popped right away as they do see Tratata in that top lane. He does have a TP and will take down this T2. But in the meantime, Swindle has popped his Dragon Form. They do have a big wave of Eidolons here. There is a TP in very aggressively from Blow Your Brain. He's going to have to get hit with a Split Earth and a Lightning Storm. I'm going to throw a Ray Fire Blast out onto Moon. Magic Missile is going to go onto Swindle. Perhaps it should have been onto Moon there, but considering that he does have the Aegis, it would have been a pretty useless kill there. So they will look to continue to go up high ground. Moon going to be the battering ram. He's going to go right up onto the front lines. Pop Edict as well as Pulse Nova. He's got all this mana to use to get him down to where his health is at, and he will actually pop this tower here. Riser going to find the last hit here. One last right click from the tower. Going to finish off Moon. If not, last word would have anyways, but just the Aegis here. Blow Your Brain going to go out into the front lines with his reincarnation and his blade mail up. Jump forward from Tipo. He's going to find Z-Freak with the lasso here, and they're going to overlap all their stuns, but they'll kill him off anyway. Stampede, jump in, Hoof Stomp. Blow Your Brain's going to go down. That's his reincarnation. Will they look to re-engage on him? It looks to be so. Split Earth going to go out. Blade Mail is popped. Nice defensive swap from PGG. Blow Your Brain, Wraith Fire Blast going out onto Limp. It looks like he'll be able to retreat up ground here. And Swindle's first BKB charge is all for naught as they only lose Z-Freak there and gain nothing back. So nice clean pick from Complexity. Good defensive swap from PGG. However, their tier 3 tower does go down 20 minutes into the game, and their racks are now exposed. Split push has been working out fairly well. Both safe lane towers are down for Moscow 5, so they've been playing this properly from the position they're in. And of course, just out of deny range is the tier 1 in the off lane for Complexity, and of course that is very backdoorable with no backdoor protection for tier 1 towers. So Roshan is going to be spawning. We'll know when he's spawning in 2 minutes from now, so at the very minimum 2 minutes from the next Roshan. Aegis was popped, of course. Boots of Travel are up, and 10 Bloodstone charges for Moon. He is actually going to be the one carrying that gem. Now if we take a look at the vision for Complexity, it's actually pretty scarce at this point. They can only see about their half of the map, and about the same story for Moscow 5 here. So they need to put that gem to work and do a better job of dewarding. Actually, a couple of smokes picked up from Z-Freak here on the way on the courier. Actually, maybe not for now. A couple of staffs of wizardry going to be picked up for Riser here, so we'll see to look if he goes perhaps Rod of Aoi. He does have a vitality booster, so that's going to be an Atos for Riser. Interesting item pickup for the Enigma. Does tank him up, does give him some more mana, and perhaps he's expecting setup from Limp here to get him in position for that black hole. Of course, he can slow a hero, which would allow them to take a lot of damage from the ticking of Moon's Edict as well as Pulse Nova, and get in range for Dragon Tails and things of that sort, as well as the Nightmare. So not a terrible pickup here, but I probably would have liked the Blink better. But either way, Blink forward and Stomp from onto PGG. Blow Your Brains in the front line. He's going to look to TP out here. Is there a Nightmare from Z-Freak? No, there isn't, unfortunately, but they are going on Tratata, the more important target. The one position silencer going to go down here, and PGG going to be soon to follow, cleaned up by the Pulse Nova and the Edict of Moon there. 2-0 in the bot lane. 1400 experience going the way of Complexity, and they are heavily in the lead. 10k net worth, 5k experience by all metrics at this point. So Complexity going to look to storm down the bottom lane with 12 Bloodstone charges on Moon here. He's pretty much a fountain at this point, able to use his Pulse Nova as he pleases, and does have that level 4 Edict to do quite a bit of work onto these Raxes. Reincarnation is of course up. It looks like Maelstrom is the build here, but not going to be quite out yet for this base defense, and Edict is popped. Moon in the front lines. They're actually going to find Blow Your Brain in the back lines. Wraithfire Blast going to go on to Moon. He's going to get hit with a Fade Bolt as well. Lightning Storm going to be stolen by King R here. Not probably the best spell he would have wanted there. Split Earth and Pulse Nova probably both doing a little more for them. TP's to the top lane by Moon here, and it looks like he'll just look to push out that lane. They are quick at the ready for the defense. Tipo does have a Blink Lasso Force Staff for Moon here. Will he be able to find him? This will be a huge kill for them. He does Force Staff forward to get the lasso, so he does have to drag him back in melee range. And actually, Tipo going to get cleaned up by the Pulse Nova and the Edict of Moon. Nice play by him. 13 Bloodstone charges. He will not tick out here to any of Tratata's kit, and he will be able to walk away with those Boots of Travel, sitting at 415 base move speed. And it looks like there will be an engagement here. PGG, Magic Missile out onto Limp. He won't look to chase knowing that the Silencer is there, but Moon finds a free kill. The Lasso is down. 2,900 gold on him, as well as the Bloodstone. We'll look to see what he builds next. Perhaps a Heart of Tarask. Perhaps he looks to go into an Aghanim Scepter or even a Yule's, but we'll see what he looks to build here. Even a Scythe of Vice would be really nice for this team to add to all the disable that they have. Roshan is going to be the target here for Complexity Gaming. No willingness to contest from Moscow 5, so nothing to deter them from doing this here. And with the last pop of the Medallion from Riser and a Split Earth from Moon, that will sound the death of Roshan, and Moon will pick up the Aegis here. Maelstrom does come out for Swindle. BKB is the choice for Moon. He'll be able to sit in the front lines and do tons of work with 13 Bloodstone charges and Aegis. So basically two full mana pools to work with. He can run in the front lines without popping his BKB in the first attempt and save it for his reincarnation from the Aegis there. So Boots of Travel do come out here for Tipo. He's pretty much the only one keeping up in farm. Actually, Tratata with that Midas has been able to pick up an Aghanim Scepter, but he only has level 3 Curse at this point, so not hitting super hard. Actually does have no levels in stats here, so he does pick up. I was wondering, he was level 14, so I was thinking he should have all his skills maxed out unless he has something in stats, and he does proceed to max out the Curse there. Looks like they'll ward the high ground here with PGG. Nope, they don't have one, so just placing this ward is PGG for some information, and they'll farm up the enemy jungle knowing that it's probably safer than their own, as 4 of the heroes from Complexity, actually all 5 are going to posture up bottom lane. They're going to go for this melee Rax. Edict going to be popped from Moon. He will be in the front lines with that newly acquired BKB. Wraithfire Blast going to go out onto him. Jump forward, lasso onto Swindle Melons, but he popped the BKB beforehand, and the Lightning Storm jumped Hoof Stomp double edge. Going to finish off PGG here. It looks like Blow Your Brain is the next target. He's got a big massive AoE reincarnation to ink though, and a lot of Complexity getting low here. He does drop, but it's only going to be a slow on 2, and in the meantime, gonna lose one in the back lines here. Tratata gonna instantly buy back, but Blow Your Brain's gonna go down before he's able to get back into the fight here. Flame Break as well as Lightning Storm out onto Swindle Melons. One more right click and the last word, gonna be able to pick him up here. And it looks like with Limp and him down, Complexity will back off. And once again, they go for this melee Rax, which is actually going to regen up here. So 3 for 2, 2 buybacks used from Moscow 5, but well worth the defense here. However, of course, the trade's still going the way of Complexity. And if they were to go for this range Rax here, they certainly would have brought it down. But they do bring it down to 428 health, which will not regenerate. And so they should be fairly pleased with that. I guess a little bit of overestimation with the Corrosive Breath and the Edict that they would be able to bring down that melee before the defense commenced from Moscow 5. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Actually, Boots of Travel picked up here from Z-Freak. So a couple sets of bots on Complexity here. They'll be able to split push well with Moon and Z-Freak waiting in the backlines to defensively nightmare up any aggressing targets, and even Fiends grip them to help out Moon. So perhaps we'll see Moon be baiting himself out in a few lanes, overextended as he is doing here in the mid. But Moscow 5 not going to bite for now. Tipo actually going to be nightmared up in the top lane, and Tratata going to convert that nightmare to him further back to ensure Tipo's safety there. Looks like BKB is the next item of choice for Riser here. He's got an Ogre Club as well as a Rod of Aoi medallion, Mech Soul Ring, and a set of Treads. So he's doing really well, sitting at 10,000 net worth over everyone on the side of Moscow 5. 17 charges on this Bloodstone for Moon. He is fat as hell on this one position Leshrock. Despite a couple of early deaths, he was able to recover fairly well, and he'll walk right up to the high ground with this Aegis. Aegis is expiring in about a minute and 20 seconds, so they're making good use of it. Mjolnir charge going to go out from Swindle onto Moon, and actually the glyph is going to be popped early. He'll go back in with his Edict though. Gonna eat a Wraithfire Blast here, but they're not willing to commit onto him. Global Silence, 2 BKBs used from Swindle and Moon. They're going to pick off Tratata real quick. And so Blow Your Brain will also go down with no reincarnation up in the backlines. And this is a free lane of racks here for Complexity. Very well played by Swindle and Moon to pop those BKBs instantly as the Global Silence went out. And they cleaned up the Silencer, who jumped into the front line. Jump in Lasso, however, forced that back onto Swindle. But they just don't have enough follow-up with their 2 cores down. They will finally clean him up here with a few last right clicks, but Moon with that Aegis going to go out into the front lines. 20 Bloodstone charges. He's going to respawn here. He's got 2,900 gold as well. Looks like he'll be going for a Shiva's for the team here. So they do find a lane of racks. He does have Edict and a full health and mana pool here, and he will look to put some punishment into this tier 3 with no buybacks available from the side, except for the 2 heroes that are alive from the Radiant side here. So unfortunate for Moscow 5. They're going to lose another T3 here pretty much for free. Lasso is down. Limp will look to back off after getting hit with the Flame Break as well as the Fable. But they'll put some more damage into the melee backs. And again, Complexity getting a little complacent looking at this melee racks as their target. But it looks like they might be able... No, they won't be able to finish off. So once again, if they were able to go for that range racks, they would have been good here. Suicide probably coming out from Moon here. Actually pops the BKB, and he'll finish off PGG with a Split Earth and the Pulse Nova. And in fact, he'll finish off King R as well and look to TP out under the protection of his BKB, and he will be successful in doing so. 22 charges on this Bloodstone for Moon Meander. Riser going to pop his mech. He's 300 gold from his BKB. Doesn't want to die here, and Blow Your Brain will not be overzealous enough to chase him uphill onto Complexity's side of the map. So once again, 3 for 1 going the way in that mid lane engagement for Complexity, as well as forcing King R's buyback for nothing. And they don't end up getting the racks here because they got a little bit over complacent once again and went for the melee instead of the range, which they would have been able to take down with ease. 300 less health on the range racks, as well as 10 armor compared to the 15 of the melee. And that melee racks is just going to regen up. Looks like Moscow 5 perhaps considering going for a GG push here, knowing how far behind they are. However, they do have pretty good base defense, so unusual decision from them. Actually, they'll just push the lane out mid and perhaps look to smoke here, but the BKB is now out for Riser. And the one thing we haven't seen from Complexity here is a big team fight Black Hole, and now adding that pretty much ensured to their lineup with the BKB from Riser. This pretty much spells doom for any engagement that Moscow 5 is caught up in, because it looks like Complexity will be dictating the pace of the team fights here, considering their lead. Tier 1 tower going to go down bottom, but Complexity posturing up mid once again, and they're going to look to take this set of racks here, this set of exposed racks in the mid lane. I don't want the melee to regen too much. It's already at around 900 health here, so they're actually going to take the tier 2 top first. So that's all the outer tier towers down now for Moscow 5, and actually Firefly being popped here from Tipo. He's just going to look to take out this wave. Will they be able to go in on Blow Your Brain mid? No, jump in Lasso onto Riser. Good target to get. Magic Missile going to go out as well. Telekinesis, Global Silence. Will Riser drop here? He does pop his BKB a bit late. Black Hole on 2 though, and there's no follow-up here. He actually ends up going down quickly, but Moon doing a lot of work with this Pulse Nova is going to pick one off, And in the backline, Swindle going to pick off Tratata as well. Moon Meander with a godlike streak. They're just going to look to take down this Rax as soon as they can. Blow Your Brain trying to bait himself out. He does pop the reincarnation here, but it looks like Complexity fine to re-engage. Split Earth actually going to be a little early from Moon, but the Hoof Stomp on 2 and the double edge from Limp going to finish him off. King R as well as Blow Your Brain dying, getting Fiends gripped up as he tries to retreat. A nice play from them. Moon Meander going to chase out Tipo as well as the Rocks go down in the mid lane. And actually, Tipo going to die to a Pulse Nova. Looks like GGs are going to be called here in Game 1 from Moscow 5. Very well played from the side of Complexity here, guys. Nice draft from them. A very early aggressive draft, very reminiscent of 6.81 Death Ball meta. And they're able to pull it off in 6.82C. So well played by them. They do want to play on their servers next, apparently. So it looks like PGG having some looks like PGG having a little bit of server ping issues here on the east server. So it looks like they will use a west side server for the next game. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. I'm Morris, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster. This was Dota Pit Season 2 group stage matches between Moscow 5 and Complexity. Complexity taking Game 1 there. Gonna bring you Game 2 real soon, guys. Should be within the next couple of minutes gonna start, but does look like we will have some administrative issues to get sorted out with the servers here. So if you haven't already, pick up your Dota Pit Season 2 ticket. Still a lot of Dota to be played, guys, in this tournament. A lot of round robin to be played, as well as the single elimination playoff bracket with the semifinals and the finals, both best of 5 series, actually. So all 3 of those matchups will be best of 5, and there's still quite a bit of Dota to be played. A lot of good teams still left to see action in Dota Pit Season 2. So if you haven't already, pick up your ticket for $9.99 on the Dota 2 store. It comes with the Blackpool Sorcerer set for the Lich. So pretty awesome set as well in the bundle, and of course the Dota TV ticket. So join me, guys, within the next couple of minutes for the next game. And thank you so much for joining me. I'm Morris, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster. Be back in a minute or two. Hello, Dota 2 fans, and welcome back for Game 2 of Dota Pit Season 2. We have Moscow 5 versus Complexity Gaming. So thank you again for joining me. I'm Maurice, please, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster. And this is the second game of the day with Complexity, taking Game 1 in convincing fashion with sort of a death ball meta lineup with the Leshrock in the position 1 on Moon Meander, as well as the Enigma for Riser and Swindle's Dragon Knight in the mid. So they did well to take a lot of early towers and were able to rax the bottom lane by about 25 minutes. So well played by them all around the map, finding good trades. Moscow 5 pretty much did as much as they could after losing the early game pretty heavily, getting their split push initiated and grabbing some towers around the map, trying to find trades where they could. But of course, Complexity with a lineup like that, forcing the fights and able to take them down under 40 minutes. So thanks again for joining me. I'm Maurice, please, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster. And this is, of course, Dota Pit Season 2, as you see at the top of the screen. And if you haven't already, make sure to grab up your ticket on the Dota 2 store. $9.99. It comes with the Blackpool Sorcerer set for the Lich. Very cute set. We'll hop right into the draft here. Skywrath Mage is going to be the first pick for Complexity Gaming. Often see Z-Freak on this hero. Could be played by Riser as well. Both supports very proficient players for Complexity. Of course, Complexity Gaming, a former Han squad that has transitioned to Dota in the last couple months and done very well for themselves after entering the scene here. So Riser's Enigma going to be banned out from Moscow 5, as well as the Brewmaster. And the Ogre Magi and the Death Prophet are going to be banned out by Complexity here, which would often be played by Tipo and PGG or King R for that Ogre Magi. So eating into the reserve time quite a bit. Venge is going to be once again the first pickup seemingly for PGG here from Moscow 5. Very good hero with the buffs to swap in 6.82. And of course the help with Roshan with the extra damage and the Wave of Terror. And they will actually pick up the Centaur here. So taking a page out of Complexity's book from last game. That should be Blow Your Brain or Tratata on that Centaur, depending where they would like to put it, either in the off lane or the safe lane. So we'll see what they look to do with that, presumably the off lane there. So Complexity Gaming going to respond here with the second pick in the first pick phase of this game too. Thanks for joining me once again, guys. We really have some good Dota for you in this tournament. Is another matchup today. I believe there was a matchup this morning in the Dota Pit where Tinker and FNATIC actually went 1-1 and tied that up. And after this, we have Evil Geniuses versus FNATIC. So really good series there. I was looking to cast the Summit today, so that's why I was a bit late on the first game. Did miss the draft there, but unfortunately, with Navi US playing in the D2CL versus PR, Cloud9 versus Navi was postponed in the Summit too. So keep in touch with Beyond the Summit's Twitter there. They should let everyone know what their plans are with resuming that game fairly shortly. So if you haven't known already, a little bit of Dota news for you guys. Aero Gaming disqualified from the Summit 2 for betting on their own team. So everyone has been given a default win in the SEA qualifier bracket of the Summit 2. You can check that out on Liquipedia if you haven't heard already. Nature's Prophet going to be picked up here probably for Limp in the offlane for Complexity Gaming. Moon Meander also plays this hero quite a bit, especially on his stream, so he can certainly be the one to pick that up as well. We'll see what they look to do. The Sprout Mystic Flare combo, of course, is an obvious synergy between these two heroes, so that's something I often pick up in ability draft to piss off the other team. But Viper going to be the ban here from Moscow 5. This is a hero that Swindle plays a lot, so not so much about fitting into the current lineup of Complexity, but more about something that they know Swindle is comfortable with, and good on them for doing their homework here. Ancient Apparition and the Mirana are going to be banned out from Complexity Gaming here, making really quick decisions on those. Don't want the Mirana and the Centaur combo, as well as the Ice Blast to assist in any pickoffs that the Centaur is going to initiate here. So pretty nice Pretty nice bans by them. Of course, Ancient Apparition also works well against the split push of the Nature's Prophet. So definitely would add a nice and is also a strong tri-laning hero with Avenge. So definitely denying a very nice support hero for Moscow 5 here. Nice play by Complexity. We'll see the Sand King ban. Of course, Sand King Skywrath, a very strong roaming combo. Something C9 has been running quite a bit lately, and a few other teams have been running for a couple patches now. So Burrow Strike into Mystic Flare, even Burrow Strike with an Ancient Seal, as well as a couple shots of Arcane Bolt does quite a bit of damage and is a good range of initiation in the higher early levels like 4 and 5. So Earthshaker will be the pickup from Moscow 5 here. And they'll couple that with their Vengeful Spirit. And perhaps the Centaur as well. We'll see to look if they put the Centaur with the supports. They did run an aggressive try with their Wraith King being highlighted last game, which didn't exactly work out against the dual lane of Zefreak's Bane and Moonmeander's Leshrock. However, it was more bad decision making than the lane choices. They did grab a first kill off Moon there, and even another off of Zefreak, I believe, but they, oh no, Moon again, but they dove a little too hard for Zefreak, and the return TP in from Moon after that low early death timer was able to clean up a couple of them, and that pretty much spelled doom for their aggressive tri-lane at that point. So especially with the opportunity for Complexity to take down towers early game with that Diabolic Edict of Moonmeander and the Corrosive Breath from Swindle there. So Clockwork is going to be the pickup here for Complexity. So it seems that Moon will probably be playing on the 1 position Nature's Prophet, and Limp will be in the off lane on the Clockwork. So Clockwork is a bad hero to be into Nature's Prophet, so perhaps somewhat of a pick ban here from Complexity. However, with the Centaur already out for Moscow 5, doesn't seem like they would have picked up a Clock. They do pick up a Puck here, so presumably that is a mid Puck for Tipo, but can never be totally sure here, as they do have, we have seen off lane Puck run quite a bit. So they could still pick up a mid hero, run this Centaur in the safe lane, and run the Puck in the off lane, or Puck in the safe lane and Centaur in the off lane. Those heroes both very flexible with their lanes. Puck can pretty much be run in any lane, and Centaur can certainly run in the off and safe lanes. So we'll see what the fourth pick here is in the second pick phase for Complexity Gaming. I'm probably going to look for a support here and maybe save their mid hero. Actually, they grab up Swindle's TA here, so a hero that hasn't been touched much in the last couple patches, and for that reason I would argue is actually stronger than she has been. She fell out of favor a little bit in the last few patches, but certainly have seen a resurgence of this Templar Assassin here, and up against the lineup of Moscow 5 is pretty darn effective. Of course, the Centaur is a little bit tanky, and the Puck is elusive, but this TA should be able to do quite a bit of work in that mid lane and thereafter. So, going to see a Wraith King ban from Moscow 5. Don't want that frontliner support, as well as the Wraith Fire Blast with the Skywrath in that roaming combo there. So they ban out the Wraith King support here, unless they were expecting a Clockwork support, which is very unlikely here. So it looks like we will see Riser's hero as the 5th hero, probably a more farm heavy support, maybe something like a Witch Doctor, as the Sand King is banned out here. So we'll see what they look to go. They do have the Clockwork Cogs, which synergize very well with the Death Ward. So potential pickup is the Witch Doctor here. There's also, of course, things like the Warlock, and the Rubik is still in the game. Lots of good stuff to steal here for the Rubik. Magic Missile, Swap, the Earthshaker's toolkit, Puck's entire toolkit. Even the Centaurs, not so good for Rubik with low HP pool, as well as the inability to get in for that Hoof Stomp. But the Telekinesis Hoof Stomp combo is certainly strong, and so I would like a Rubik pickup here. However, he doesn't offer too much in terms of the in light of the way of the roaming with the Skywrath. I think the Ogre Magi, which is banned out, or the Witch Doctor would synergize better with that Skywrath. We'll see what the last pickup here is. Actually a PA for Moscow 5, so it definitely does well against right clickers like NP and Templar Assassin. So I like this pickup from Moscow 5. Of course, the Skywrath Mage is something to worry about with the PA. She's very susceptible to magic damage with her high armor, low HP. And of course, the blur is really what gives her effective HP with that dodge. But of course, that is only relevant in terms of physical damage. So
10 seconds remaining.
good and bad is this pickup. It will certainly cause the Skywrath to focus on the PA more than these other heroes, which are squishier, and that will allow space for PGG and King R on the Venge and the Earthshaker respectively to get a little more done in these team fights. So I really like the PA rounding out the lineup here from Moscow 5. I feel like they have a very well-rounded lineup. So it looks like we will see an offlane Centaur for them, as well as the mid PA. Not sure who's going to pick that up. I think Moscow 5 is pretty flexible with their roles in terms of their 3 cores, so they may have Tratata pick up the PA in the safe lane, or even run it in the mid lane with the puck in the safe lane. So presumably the puck will be in mid for Tipo, and we will see blow your brain on that PA. Luna's actually going to round out the lineup here for complexity, and actually very good pick, especially early on versus the PA. So blow your brain will pick up the safe lane PA here. PGG actually going to grab the Earthshaker, and Venge going to be grabbed by King R. So what I was going to say is that Luna actually has quite a bit of magic damage, and that's certainly good early on versus the PA before she's able to get up that BKB. So actually it's going to be a 4-position Nature's Prophet for Z-Freak here for complexity. So they kept their draft open with that possibility. It looks like he'll go directly into the jungle with 2 Mantles of Intelligence Clarities, as well as his level 1 Call of Nature, or Nature's Call. So Moon going to be playing on the safe lane 1-position Luna for Complexity Gaming. Riser will be on the 5-position Skywrath Mage. Z-Freak will be on the 4 Nature's Prophet, presumably going towards the jungle. Swindle in the mid, of course, on the Templar Assassin. And Limp in the off lane, as he is usually on his Clockwork. So for the side of Moscow 5, we got Tipo on the Centaur, playing in that off lane role. Looks like he may have a dual lane with PGG here, or PGG may just be looking to block the creep wave. So we'll see how that shapes up. PGG is on the 5-position Earthshaker, and Tratata in the mid on the puck. Blow your brains on the 1-position Phantom Assassin, and King R on the 4 Vengeful Spirit. So pretty solid draft from both teams. I would have to favor Moscow 5 a little bit just because of the greed of Complexity's lineup, but we'll see if they're able to transition into the late game. A nice cog by Limp, going to secure him the bounty rune in top, and the bottom rune was actually picked up earlier, it seems, by perhaps Riser there. So it is going to be a dual lane for now. There's no block coming out from PGG quite yet, and he actually does block everything but the range creep. So looking to push this wave back into his tower. That's actually probably not the right thing to do. Actually, Riser just going to stand here and take some hits as well to keep the lane pushed up, and pretty unsuccessful block coming out from Moscow 5. They will kill off the range creep quickly, which will push the lane into T-Po's tower, but that will push the lane back in turn as the units from Complexity will drop quickly to the tower. Limp should have an okay time in this top lane here with the Templar, the Phantom Assassin early levels. Isn't much they can do to aggress on him, and a nice mana burn coming out from him using the cogs. He'll actually find a few last hits here. Going to be a tough matchup for Swindle mid, but with refraction charges he should be able to get done everything he needs to here. Nice last hit there under the deny attempt from Tratata. And actually, Z-Freak going to rotate out and harass Tratata quite a bit with these right clicks. And there's a phase shift here from Tratata to avoid one of them. And PGG actually going to rotate in towards this mid lane, clearing up. But Sideblades are skilled from Swindle. He'll try to put some harass into Tratata using those. But 7 for 4 up against the 4-0 for Tratata and Swindle in the mid lane. So both midders should have a pretty good time here. Already sitting at level 2 is Tipo. Limp is going to grab his level 3 here, so doing very well on this Clockwork. in this dual lane here. Perhaps they should have brought P up here to intimidate Limp a little more. He won't be able to find many last hits underneath the tower. Certainly is difficult, but he does find a lot of levels, and that's certainly more important for any offlaner, not to mention a Clockwork. So double damage is going to be picked up bottom by Tipo. Not sure that the bounty was picked up at all mid, perhaps by a support by PGG. It looks like he did pick up that bounty rune in the top rune spot. So laning stage will be pretty passive with the makeups of both teams. Definitely going to be a little bit slow, and hoping for some farm on this PA for Moscow 5, and the same goes for Moon Meanders Luna in the safe lane. But with Z-Freak, he doesn't have a Sprout yet, so he does have TPs in, but not much but right clicks to offer. Limp actually going to be caught out top lane. Looks like PGG rotated in with a Fisher, but he may be able to walk away. He does have boots, which are not owned by either of the supports for Moscow 5, but he's going to run right into PGG here, who doesn't have enough mana and he almost cogs him to the high ground. Actually, PGG able to body block up Limp, and the Illusory Orb as well as the Wave of Terror going to go out, and Limp's going to be the culprit of first blood here, it seems. Spectral Dagger even going to finish him off by Blow Your Brain, so just the right target they need to get that kill. However, this will find some space for Swindle in the mid lane, as well as Z-Freak to farm the jungle, as well as Riser doing some pulling, and of course Moon's Luna here sitting at 20 CS, 21 now, on the highest on the board, and of course only the mid laners with higher experience than him at this point. So Swindle has found his bottle as well as 500 gold and boots in the mid lane. Taking a look at Tratata, he's got about the same with the addition of a Null Talisman and 150 gold. So look to see what the build is here. Probably phase boots for Swindle. He'll crow a bit here. Maroons have both been taken for 4 minutes, and looks like Tratata will do the same. So certainly Bottle Crow, certainly this patch hasn't been the death of Bottle Crowing, and has certainly mitigated the amount of it with the addition of the bounty rune, but regardless, still a pretty relevant aspect of the early game. So PGG and King are going to collaborate to do some pulls here. They had a stack here. Rocket Flare going to scout that out from Limp. Unfortunately, you won't be able to pick up any last hits there. And Blow Your Brain doing very well in terms of CS. 27-7 up against the 29-14 of Moon's Luna. They have aggressed on Tipo bottom, but they don't have any lockdown for him, and that may make him back off with no regen left, however. Although the Centaur does have great base strength at 34 at this point, so he will regen decently quickly. And it looks like they'll put a little bit of chip damage into this tower bottom lane for Complexity Gaming, but nothing to write home about here. So Bracer is picked up. Looks like we'll see a drums build from TA. Tratata TPing bottom, but so is Z-Freak, and they've got on Tipo here, but the fish are going to block out Moon. Nice tango into the trees. He'll get hit with a hoof stomp, but Arcane Bolt and one right click from Riser going to finish off Tipo, and the Coil's not going to hit on Moon. He will end up dropping to the combo of King R and Tratata, and they will bring down Riser as well. No stuns left for Z-Freak. A very smart play for him to TP out. 2 for 2 in the bot lane. Off laner and a support for the 1 position and a support. So as you see, the trade going a little bit Moscow 5's way with the Luna dropping for Complexity, and all the while creating space for their Phantom Assassin, who is level 6.5 in this top lane. Double damage rune was picked up by Swindle here, and he does have his Bracer, so we'll see to look if he puts a Fade shot into Tratata, Meld Strike, I should say, into Tratata. They do have Riser here. Ancient Seal goes out, Concussive Shot, as well as the Arcane Bolt. Nice Fisher block from PGG on the Earthshaker there, and unfortunately, Swindle has to pop his DD rune and is not able to get in range to drop a hit on Tratata, which probably would have killed him. So excellent play by PGG. Also stops Z-Freak's teleport in. However, Z-Freak probably could have went for that with a Sprout onto PGG, as he had used the Fisher, and Tratata's coil was used in the bot lane. However, playing it safe there. And actually, Limp going to find a kill top lane with the help of Z-Freak onto PA. So, blow your brain going down here. Huge kill. And no hookshot used. Just the cogs and the battery assault. Limp, knowing that he wasn't harassed, didn't have to go max rocket flare for last hitting. So, he was able to level up the battery assault here. And it definitely paid dividends for him, finding the kill on the PA in the top lane. And that'll help Moon surpass Blow Your Brain on the Luna on the net worth chart, sitting at 45 CS here, despite having the 1 death. So, early game looking good for both sides. Unfortunate death there. Looks like Tratata's being aggressed on in the mid lane. Rocket Flare, 1 more hit. Oh, it's actually going to get disjointed by the Jaunt. And Swindle diving deep. He's going to get coiled up. And PGG going to spot him out. There is a magic missile here. Actually, I guess nothing. That should have been casted from King R there. I guess they thought they could have taken down Swindle without it. Not sure. Hookshot mid lane. Going to go in on King R. Actually going to hit a creep. Looks like King R will be able to make it away. But the faster move speed of Limp. He's going to get in range for 1 tick of the battery assault. But worried about support from PGG there. So Limp will back off here. Hookshot down for a minute. But no big deal there. The fact that Swindle survived in that mid lane is a much nicer feeling for complexity there. Swindle does pick up his phase boots here. He's got phase bottle bracer, looking to build into that phase drums build that is also popular on this Templar assassin. So Tratata has the base here. Oh, actually is finding a solo kill on Riser Skywrath Mage, perhaps in the bottom lane. Not sure exactly where that took place, as looks like Tratata went pretty deep and was able to TP out. However, is 40 gold away from this Blink Dagger here on the puck here. So take a look at the net worth chart, and is sitting at 3rd, just under the 2-1 positions. Swindle going to aggress onto PGG. Concussive Shot going to go out. Is going to be a little late here as Tratata's there, but the Wrath of Nature going to come through. Nice defensive stampede here from Tipo, and Swindle will be aggressed on here. Coil out onto him, as well as the Illusory Orb, and a couple right clicks from Blow Your Brain going to finish him off. Moon willing to go in with this Eclipse here, does pop it, and nice phase shift from Tratata. Good hook though from Limp is going to finish off Tratata. He's going to get Ancient sealed up as well. Eclipse a little bit underwhelming there from Moon. Perhaps just a Lucent Beam would have been sufficient, but he's going to get Magic Missiled up, and nice cog from Limp is going to bring Tipo in. However, the Enchant Totem and a few right clicks out onto Moon Meander. Moon will die. They will bring down Tipo, but a Spectral Dagger going to crit onto Limp, and it looks like a 2-for-2 in the mid lane. Puck and Centaur for Clockwork and Luna, but Z-Freak getting caught in the river. He's going to go down as well. Swindle does come back in though. Nice defensive sprout, but Fisher going to finish him off. PGG going to go down here to Swindle if this attack hits uphill, which it does, and it looks like Swindle not willing to rotate around on the high ground as Blow Your Brain and King are split up to deter any more aggression from Swindle. So overall, 4-for-3. Actually, the fight recap did catch all of that, and a 700 gold swing, as well as about a 700 experience swing, going the way of Moscow 5 there. So 4-for-3. They do bring down all the cores, and Blow Your Brain is able to survive for Moscow 5. So Blink does come out now. Big item here for Tratata's puck in the mid. They can certainly defend this here with Tipo, with Stampede up, as well as the Blink from the puck. But it doesn't look like they are too willing to do so, as the TPs are into the Tier 2. Stampede forward, though. Blow Your Brain going to go onto Swindle here. He's going to be picking up everyone, though, in the back lines. And it looks like Mystic Flare committed in the Sprout. They're going to take down Tratata, as well as Tipo with a Lucent Beam. Blow Your Brain going to jump in a little too late here. And the Cog is actually going to be a little too short from Limp here. But a nice Sprout. Blink out, though, from Blow Your Brain. Still going to get hit with the Psionic Trap. Another Psionic Trap going to go out. Arcane Bolt going to finish off Blow Your Brain. No, nice Magic Stick charge pop there. Spectral Dagger out onto Swindle. He's behind the tower, diving. Enchant Totem going to stun him, and Blow Your Brain going to be able to survive. Rocket Flare does latch, but 4 HP left for Blow Your Brain. So unfortunate for Limp, only with that level 2 Rocket Flare. Was well placed, but not able to pick him up. Looks like a 2-for-0 in the mid lane. going the way of Complexity. Nice Sprout Mystic Flare combo, as I mentioned in the draft, going to be able to take down Tipo and Tratata and punish them for their aggression and overextension in that fight. They had Swindle isolated here, and that's why I had the camera on him, is assuming that Moscow 5 would converge back on him, being a very high priority target. But Tratata and Tipo with the Stampede and Blink going really forward into the fight, perhaps looking to take out Moon or just the squishy supports. Moon Meander does have his drums, Aquila Treads at this point, excuse me, as well as 700 gold. 12 minutes in, so sitting at the top of the net worth chart, is doing very well. A smoke movement from King R, accompanied by PGG and Tratata here. It looks like they'll be able to take out Swindle, but very intelligently actually moves upwards. He's actually going to look for a rune here, doesn't find one, and will walk back down into the mid lane. Does pick up his drums here though, so is a little more tanky if they are to engage on him, and does have, of course, the refraction charge here. Spectral Dagger going to go out, jump in from Blow Your Brain. Nice hook though from Limp on the back lines. Swindle still going to go down here, it seems. Yes, he will get right click down, but Limp going to take out 2 in the cogs, and the Eclipse going to take out Blow Your Brains as well from Moon Meander. 3 for 1 in the mid lane, both the supports and the 1 position Phantom Assassin. Nice blink out from Tratata here to avoid the Lucent Beam from Moon Meander, but this will be a push into the mid lane for Complexity. Buckler was popped. Scouting Rocket Flare going to go out as well. Illusory Orb going to look to take out this creep wave for Tratata, and will be successful in doing so, and that will force Complexity to back off. But they find some nice kills, and it looks like the backdoor on the top lane Tier 1 tower is real here, and Z-Freak going to pick that up. On this 4 position, Nature's Prophet almost has a mech up, about 200 gold away from mech with 2 Null Talisman as well as Treads. So Z-Freak has found a lot of farm on this Nature's Prophet, sitting at 5th Older Wall. Ancient Seal on Tipo won't be enough to finish him off. He'll just TP out in the face of Riser, as Mystic Flare was down without enough mana to cast it there. So Moon finding some farm in the enemy jungle. He's got his drums, of course, and 1900 gold up on him. So we'll look to see if he goes perhaps H-Dom, perhaps BKB, but already with this early fighting build, you usually see H-Dom, Helm of the Dominator, that is, with more late game oriented Luna builds. So we're expecting probably the BKB here to help with the toolkits of everyone but the Phantom Assassin here. Stampede is popped in the top lane, and it was just to help the bottom pick off Swindle here. Limp is also in trouble. Wave of Terror going out onto him, but the TP's in are going to sound the retreat here. Tratata still waiting in the wings though, as Moon TP's down. Riser is here. If he's able to find an Ancient Seal onto Tratata? No, blink forward, Waning Rift, Illusory Orb, blink in onto Moon, but a nice he'll back out well, and Mystic Flare going to finish off King R here. Blow Your Brain trying to TP out. Battery Assault going to cancel that. Limp's going to find him as well. 3 for 1 in the bot lane. Swindle going down early. Even Tratata was picked off by Z-Freak in the backlines. Nice TP in from him. He's been extremely effective on this Nature's Prophet. 2, 1, and 10. 10 assists, 12 kills involved of the 16 has Z-Freak been for Complexity, and only involved in 1 of the 10 deaths for the team. So he's been extremely effective with that KDA. Take a look at the overall KDA for everyone. Limp sitting at 6, 2, and 3, 5, 2, and 4 for Moon Meander, and Blow Your Brain sitting on parity, totally even at 3 and 3. So unfortunate for Moscow 5. It looks like they're starting to lose this mid game here. 5,000 experience net worth and 4,000 experience leads generated by Complexity Gaming here. So Tratata hasn't been too effective on this puck since picking up that early Blink Dagger. Force Staff has now been picked up for Limp here. Stampede on the top lane is used to get Tipo out. He's going to get sprouted up though, and will be able to once again TP out in the face of Swindle as well as Z-Freak, as they had no hard disable to interrupt that. So unfortunate for them. But they do bait out a Stampede, which isn't ultimate, of course, not the longest cooldown at 80 seconds, but still something won there by Complexity. Rocket Flare going to scout out behind the tower. Probably will see PGG there rotating towards the top lane. If not, they do see him by the wave now. So Complexity seems to be in control of this game pretty handily. Limp now has his force staff, of course, and will be a lot more mobile on this clockwork here. Tratata taking quite a bit of harass in this bot lane. Does have a haste as well as a full bottle up here, and they certainly can go on Moon here. But there is no dagger for Tipo, unfortunately, and the Stampede is down. So Limp actually going to hook him. He's going to find him in some cogs here. Courier a little bit dangerous, but the Hoof Stomp on 2 will only delay the inevitable, and Limp's Battery Assault going to clean up T-Post Centaur at the when all is said and done. So 1900 gold up for Moon Meander. He does pick up the Ogre Club, so he will go BKB, as I mentioned. Of course, very characteristic of this build is the next item, BKB. So Yules is being built into for Tratata here. Dagger has been delayed quite a bit from that last death from Centaur, and he's only sitting at level 9 under Riser's Skywrath Mage here. So a really unfortunate game for the offlane Centaur. Actually, all the 4 cores, including the 4 position Nature's Prophet, are sitting ahead of Blow Your Brains PA as well as Tratata's Puck here. Yasha's been picked up now for Swindle. He'll look to build into that Manta, presumably, or maybe straight into something like a Deso or a Daedalus. But we'll see what he opts for, sitting on 600 gold. Anything on the courier for him doesn't seem as so. Just Brown Boots and no Talisman up for Riser here as well. Limp, of course, as I mentioned, picked up that Force Staff. And the mech has come out for Z-Freak, and he's still got 1400 gold here. So we'll look to see if he goes for Hook's going to whiff here onto Tratata from Limp. But we'll see if he looks to go for that Orchid. Very good item versus Puck. But perhaps he looks to go Blade Mail or something along those lines of early fight. So Tipo gonna try and find his Blink Dagger finally in the jungle here. Blow Your Brain does have Bassy Drums, Treads, and an Ogre Club towards his BKB. So starting to be relevant here. Is the second highest net worth on his team, 5th overall, behind all the cores of Complexity. Did Limp drop something? It doesn't seem as so. I feel like if he dropped a bit on the net worth, Orb and a Waning Rift gonna go out onto Limp, but he's way too tanky for Tratata's solo kill here. So there is a blink for it, however, and 7 seconds, another silence from Tratata. Actually TP's out from Limp towards the top lane, and Z-Freak has scouted out Tipo here. Hook in. And the Wrath of Nature also going to come out onto Tipo from Z-Freak. He's not going to need to pop from the trees here, and so we'll keep under the cover of the tree line, and we'll now pop out to look to push the lane. But they find Tipo once again, and once again that's right before his dagger. So unfortunate for the side of Moscow 5. It is 19 minutes into the game, and they don't have a blink dagger on their offlane Centaur. So for all intensive purposes, this game is on the back of Blow Your Brain at this point. So this is going to be a tough one, especially considering that the BKB is now picked up for Moon, sitting at 8,800 net worth. Eternal Envy status here, not really, but pretty close. 470 GPM at 20 minutes into the game. Pretty damn good for this Luna. So Roshan has not been aggressed against at all by either team this game here, guys. So Yules does come out for Tratata. Actually, Necros are the choice for Z-Freak. He's going to pick up that Necro 1, looking to aid the push along with the Luna of Complexity. They are lacking in that department somewhat. Hook forward does hit a creep from Limp, but Ancient Seal out onto Tratata, as well as an Arcane Bolt and the Mystic Flare. He'll get cleaned up by Riser here. Well played by him to clean him up before he's able to use his elusive toolkit. So Dagger does finally come out for Tipo here. Perhaps they can make a good defense here with that surprise, but I'm sure Complexity is expecting that to come out sometime soon, if not already be out. Ogre Club coming out for Swindle. Looks like he'll build into a BKB as well, sitting on 1300 gold. Yasha Phase Drums. So he does not have enough for the Mithril Hammer and is about 1200 gold away from his BKB here. Looks like TP's are to the top lane to try and find out Blow Your Brain. King R is behind him though, and he's able to stick around for Blow Your Brain to blink out. So good play by him, and they will TP towards the mid lane to try and defend something here. Tratata is going to find Swindle farming Ancients here. Will he coil him up? There's a Waning Rift here, a nice Fisher block, and even the Stampede as well as the coil committed from Tratata. Well, not sure why he jaunts forward there. It looks like Swindle. No, he will get cleaned up. Jump in, stomp, double edge combo by Tipo. 2-0. And a big experience swing going the way of the two heroes. One hero you would certainly want experience to go the way of as Blow Your Brains PA. So he will pick up his BKB now. That's a huge pickup for him. However, still a lot of right click threat, but from the Luna Z Freak on the Nature's Prophet, as well as Swindle on the TA for complexity. So of course he does have that blur, so this will make Blow Your Brains very survivable here as Z Freak tries to push in the top lane. But it looks like they will give the farm to Blow Your Brains here. He doesn't have a Battle Fury and isn't even close to one, so unfortunately have to bring these targets down one by one. Rocket Flare gonna go out here. We'll see if actually Z Freak gonna find a kill onto the Earthshaker with the Wrath of Nature, and Blow Your Brain's gonna have to retreat. Sprout, jump forward, a nice hatchet usage by Blow Your Brain here. Jump forward, a little bit over commitment from Z Freak, and he'll get cleaned up by Tipo here. Hook is in the back though to Tratata. He will phase shift out and jaunt forward, and with the Lucent Beam already used from Moon, will be able to escape. So 1 for 1 there, really 1 for 0, as Z Freak didn't have to commit anything but his ultimate to kill off the Earthshaker, so he feeds away a death to Moscow 5 there. And the Blink Dagger already paying dividends for Tipo here in terms of the base defense. So tower score is 4-0 in the favor of complexity. So a lot of gold is stored up in these towers for Moscow 5, which they don't have too much push power, that is for sure, with their lineup. But they will be able to grab a nice influx of gold as they are able to take some towers down. But in order to do that, they will need to find some pickoffs here. Limp going to be hit with a Spectral Dagger. Jump in from Blow Your Brain. He's going to get concussed as well as hit with a Psionic Track. He's Ancient Sealed up. Nice hook in. Mystic Flare. Little bit of over-aggression from Blow Your Brains there. And no help from Tratata on the backlines. And they'll go directly into Roche. Will Complexity with that pickoff. And they'll find quite a bit of experience as well. Tratata going to blink forward. He's going to use up Limp. And just Illusory Orb and jaunt out here. So only going to delay the inevitable here. Rocket Flare is going to scout out probably King R here. Yep, they do see King R now with the Sprout as well. Force forward from Limp. He's going to try and back off any attempts to snatch this Aegis. And it will go to Swindlemelons. Nice Eclipse pop by Moon. They're going to bring down Tipo's Centaur as well as King R's Vengeful Spirit. Won't have a stun for PGG's Earthshaker there, but looks like Limp's going to find no hook shot available for another 5 seconds, but he will find Tratata here. Nice force forward. He does cog him in, and the Battery Assault is not going to be enough to stop the jaunt from Tratata, who does have a TP here, and is going to get hit with the Rocket Flare. Nice hook by Limp. Excellent play by him, using that hook shot to full effectiveness in combo with the Rocket Flare, and gonna pick up a very high priority target. And there are, guys, no buybacks on the Dire side except for PGG, who is currently alive, so we can certainly see Complexity go high ground with this Aegis on Swindle and the puck down. So we'll see if they get that aggressive. Of course, they don't know that the buyback is down, so playing it safe here. They're gonna look to take this T2 top, and Limp is not with them, so they should certainly be careful doing so. But has played well on this Clockwork, sitting at 9-2-6 with a 4-staff point booster, 2,400 gold. So he's 600 gold away from his Aghanim Scepter here, and that'll be a huge pickup for them, being able to isolate any of the heroes and make them susceptible to that Mystic Flare with his cogs. Is awesome for complexity here. So Swindle gonna find his BKB here, which is really nice pickup, especially having that Aegis. He can throw himself in the front lines with Refraction up, and with Refraction and BKB will pretty much take no damage at all from the lineup of Moscow 5. So really good pickup for him here. He also picks up a Bounty Rune to fill his bottle, and we'll do a double stack here, actually triple stack here of Ancients here. So Swindle going to pick up quite a bit of gold from that. Perhaps he looks to go for a Blink Dagger here. PGG does pick up a dagger on the Earthshaker, so we'll finally be able to set up for a nice Echo Slam if Complexity converges on a target. But in the meantime, HDOM was picked up 4 Moons Luna. Looks like he'll be going into a Satanic, if not a Manta style with that Yasha as well. Bit of a cookie cutter build from him. A little bit of everything. So Tratata gonna jaunt out in the top lane away from Z-Freak, who is defending this tower against him. Moscow 5 certainly lacking push, but it looks like they will find Z-Freak here. But he actually thinks better of it. Blink forward, Yule Scepter. Looks like they will be able to stampede through him. He will pop the Necro Book, however, and with Limp TPing in, they can certainly turn this. Tipo trying to dodge out the hook, but he won't be able to do so. And Limp will even save his cogs. Very efficient play from him, using the Battery Assault to slow him down, knowing that Riser was with him there, as well as Z-Freak. So looks like they will look to push the top lane off the back of that pick-off. 1,000 experience going the way of Complexity, and of course there is no buyback available for the Centaur. He is 580 gold short, so they will find this tower with relative ease and perhaps look to pressure high ground at this point with their lead, which is currently 15,000, in excess of that in terms of net worth, and 15,000 with experience. So pretty damn heavy lead here for Complexity. They won't be able to defend this much. Swindle with that Aegis still for another couple of minutes here. We'll be just fine to stand on the front lines as the battering ram, but Blow Your Brain's going to TP out aggressively, and it doesn't look like Complexity are too privy to wanting to throw their advantage away here, knowing that there is the Blink Dagger initiation from Tipo as well as Tratata. Rocket Flare going to go out, going to hit on King R and just scout out the movements here from Moscow 5. So Tratata going towards the bot. Excuse me. He's going to pick up a bounty rune here and does have a gem now for his team. So he will look to take out some of the vision for Complexity here, and they will scout out the top lane. I'm not sure exactly where that rocket flare was going, but either way, vision is here from Moscow 5. So Limp just fishing for someone there. Looks like I'm lagging a bit, guys. I'm not sure if this is just me or the servers. I know they switched servers for this last game here, so just check my internet. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be me, but perhaps I can just do a quick reconnect here. If you just bear with me for a moment here. Yeah, I do have my Summit 2 loading screen up, as I was anticipating on casting that today, but unfortunately the Na'Vi Cloud9 game has been postponed until further notice by virtue of Na'Vi playing in the D2CL today up against PR. So Summit EU qualifiers will probably continue tomorrow, and I will probably have some of that coverage for you as well. Be sure to join me on twitch.tv/MRP_Dota. I'm Moritz, please. You're a resident Canadian Dota 2 caster, and you can follow me on Twitter at MRP_Dota, as you see on your screen. So hopefully we can get this lag issue rectified. Sorry for the interruption there, guys, and thanks for your patience. But good game so far. Complexity winning convincingly in game 1, and it looks like we are back in here without sans lag, I should say. Not sure if there was a pause, but either way, looks like the game is back underway. Net worth heavily led here. Jump forward from Tratata, but the Nature's Call going to actually scout him out here, and he will be able to jaunt back to his orb to safety. So Swindle has picked up his BKB, as we mentioned, but also has 3,700. We'll look to see if he grabs up that Crystallis, or perhaps just a casual Demon Edge at this point, on his way to his Daedalus. And looks like he will pick up the Demon Edge here. Yep, does do so. So is about 500 gold away from a Crystallis. Pretty damn good for Swindle Melon, sitting second overall in the net worth. Sanjin Yasha has been picked up from Moon. He's sitting pretty quick at 459 base move speed at this point. So Nova is running around pretty damn quickly on the map. So yeah, Moon gonna do a lot of work in these team fights. He's gonna be able to position himself very well for a good eclipse, especially with that BKB pickup. So Tipo has gone for the max mobility build with the Blink Dagger into Force Staff here, which is certainly not unwarranted up against the lineup of Complexity with the Sprout as well as the Cogs. and the concussive shot, psionic trap, and all those things that are able to lock someone down or slow them. So TP was forward from Z-Freak, looking to find out a Tipo here, but actually Limp gonna find a kill onto Tratata. Actually Rise are gonna go down here to blow your brain. He's popped his BKB here, but a hook will be up soon, and actually it gets blocked from Swindle, so unfortunately for them, they're able to defensively stampede out. And Swindle walked in front of Limp just at the last moment. Z-Freak TP's in a little bit too late. 1 for 1 in the bottom lane. And it looks like we're getting a bunch of DCs here. So, yeah. Not sure if that server switch exactly worked. But looks like a reconnect from everyone. Pause does come out here, guys. I already reconnected, so... It looks like I was ahead of the curve on this one. Yeah, unfortunate, guys, but take a look at the graphs right now. Almost 20,000 net worth lead amassed by Complexity, about 15,000 experience lead as well. So it looks like they will wait. They have been a little tentative to push high ground on the side of Complexity in this game, and it's certainly understandable into Puck Centaur initiation as well as the Echo Slam. Not sure if they've spotted out PGG's Blink Dagger, but yeah. Let's ask Volvo. So Z-Freak not able to get this camp to spawn now that he is standing in it at 40 minutes with the DC there. Looks like Complexity is ready. We'll see if Moscow 5 is ready as well. Looks like Greg, what is hip, is not quite ready. Yeah, players waiting for casters. Unfortunate, but I know players are certainly frustrated by that. Casters waiting for players is one thing, but Mott does reconnect into the game now. Flame Mott, yeah. So he is over on twitch.tv/DotaPit if you guys want to check that one out as well. But I am Maurice Blaze, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster, casting here for Dota Pit Season 2. So Blow Your Brain does have his Mask of Madness out, so interesting pickup from him. Couple that with the Blink, he will be hitting pretty quickly, but not so hard, only sitting at about 135 damage at this point. So does have 2,400 gold, perhaps looks to build into a Daedalus. Does seem to be an NKB with the Javelin coming out here. I'm not sure exactly why. There's no Butterfly out on either of these two heroes, but MKB certainly going to be the build here for Swindle. I'm going to retract my other statement about Daedalus. Of course, you're fighting into a TA. You certainly want an MKB. So, 9-second BKB still available for Swindle here. I believe the 10-second is up. It is for Moon Meander. So they do have the wherewithal to go into base here. They do have a Psionic Trap scouting out Roshan, who, you know, is going to spawn sometime, but there's no clock here, guys. So not sure exactly what the issue is there. Perhaps when the reconnect happened, a little bit of a visual bug, but not much else in the way of item progression here. There is a Force Staff for King R on the Vengeful Spirit, so that's a good pickup as well. A lot of mobility, a lot of defensive capability with that swap here. We'll see if Limp is able to find out Blow Your Brain. This would be a huge target. Stampede is actually forward, but a nice hook shot by Limp is going to find out Blow Your Brain, and the Meld Strike. Blink out from Blow Your Brain, though. In the back, Moon and Z-Freak will find PGG, but Blow Your Brain will be able to TP out under the cover of his BKB. Luckily for him, the creep wave was there. Perhaps Limp could have got a hook into him. I know he's got the Ags up. His cooldown probably was up. And, of course, hook stun does go through BKB, if I'm not mistaken. So, yes, it does pierce magical immunity. Jump in, hoof stomp on 2 from Tipo. But they just don't have the follow-up here. And he's going to get slowed up and Mystic Flare. Nice swap out from King R. But he'll get cleaned up by a right click that followed him from Swindle. And they will take 2 Raxes for free here. 2 for nil. And a free lane of Rax on Complexity. So their patience does seem to pay off here as they take a Rax completely cleanly, as well as a pick off on the center. Of course, the Earthshaker did die earlier in the top lane to Z-Freak and Swindle, as Limp held back Blow Your Brain in his cogs, and Swindle was going on him. So, sorry, did I say Swindle took out PGG? I meant Moon. Moon as well as Z-Freak. So, Roche is up now. We'll look to see if Complexity wants to back off into the Roche pit here. But it does seem that PGG is wary of this. They do have a high ground ward here, which doesn't actually scout out the pit. So if I show you the dire vision here, it doesn't actually scout out Roshan. The pit is covered. So they are wary of the spawn time here. And it looks like Tratata going in bot lane. He does find the courier, which had actually nothing on it. Just delivered a hex to Z-Freak. But Z-Freak going to be able to clean up PGG with actually a rocket flare coming in to do the job. He'll mech up. And it looks like Tratata will have to TP away here. Psionic Trap's going to scout him out, but he'll be able to TP out after a blink. Of course, Psionic Trap, even when pop, does not cancel blink as it should. So, Blow Your Brain able to get out there, but 2-0. Both supports in the bot lane going down for the side of Moscow 5. So, Complexity, a nice little flux of 2,400 experience going that way. Just looks like 1,000 gold was just spent for the Satanic recipe for Moon. So he will have a Satanic now. He's pretty much hit critical mass. He is 4 slotted if you include the boots. Actually, hook forward is going to miss, but a hex onto Blow Your Brain. This will be a huge kill with the Mystic Flare and 1 Meld Strike from Swindle. He did just pick up his MKB, so not very survivable is this PA for Moscow 5. It looks like they'll take another free lane of racks with no buyback available for the PA here. Hook forward from Limp onto Tratata, but just going to zone him out. Jump forward and Echo Slam. Nice swap out from King R. He's going to feed his life away, though, and it looks like Tratata has DC'd. And actually, GG is going to be called here from Moscow 5. Well played by Complexity. They're going to take this one 2-0. They're doing very well so far in Dota Pit's celebratory Eclipse. Going to be popped by Moon here, and a hook through. Going to give Limp a godlike streak, so hopefully you guys had him in fantasy right before the game ends. Played extremely well on that clockwork there. Kudos to him. Certainly the standout player of the match. Swindle did extremely well in the mid lane, but was just more or less stable for Complexity, not making any mistakes here. Unfortunately, for the side of Moscow 5, they will drop 2-0 here, and that actually brings them to 0-6. Losing 2-0 to Virtus Pro, losing 2-0 to Evil Geniuses, and now 2-0 to Complexity. They are 0-6, sitting right at the bottom of the pile in Group A for the Dota Pit Season 2 tournament. Complexity is now 3-1, so they tied up their series with PR 1-1, and of course won here 2-0. So they're doing well, sitting at tied for second with Team Tinker in the Dota Pit in Group A. So this is Dota Pit Season 2. I am RH, please, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster. That was Complexity Gaming versus Moscow 5. So they defeat them in 2 games. Thanks so much for joining me today, guys. There is another Dota Pit series to come very soon in 25 minutes with Evil Geniuses up against FNATIC. Unfortunately, I won't be able to cast that one for you guys today, but some good Dota Pit action to come. You can check out all the schedule and standings and results at dotapit.com. You can also check out the ticket there, as well as the Blackpool Sorcerer set for Sorcerer of the Blackpool set for the Lich. So thanks to everyone for this tournament. AMD, Sapphire, Sennheiser, Tesoro, Twitch bringing this to us, guys. A lot of good Dota to still be played. Check out liquipedia.com, and as you can see, there are tons of best of 2 still to be played in this group stage. Cloud9, definitely a notable team. Navi US, neither of them have played a single game in the Dota Pit tournament so far, and Evil Geniuses has only played 2 best of 2s, so they have another 5 best of 2s to be played. Certainly a notable team there. FNATIC has another 6 best of 2s to be played. Complexity has another 5 as well, so Tinker has another 5. So a lot of good teams, a lot of good Dota to be played, guys. Be sure to pick up your ticket over on the Dota 2 store. And thanks so much for joining me once again, guys. I'm Maurice Pizzo, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster. Check out twitch.tv/DotaPit for the official stream and the next matchup with the 89% favorites EG up against the 11% dogs of the new FNATIC squad. So certainly want to check that out. And thanks for joining me, guys. Have a great day. I'm Maurice Pizzo, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster. Certainly join me tomorrow for some more Dota 2 coverage. I am Maurice, please, signing out.